This is lesson 6.2 continued, and we're still looking at the download time problem. And here's another one that's worded different. We have the word or. So we're looking at a probability that the download time is less than 2 or more than 6. Remember, that's 7 right there. So in this situation, what we do is we add the probabilities. So we're going to add those two areas. So less than 2 or more than 6. And we saw on the previous page that if we have a more than, what we need to do is we need to subtract from 1. And so we need to convert those to our z values. And our z value for 2 would be 2 minus the mean over 2. Negative 5 over 2 is negative 2.5. Let's go ahead and find our z value for 6. 6 minus 7 over 2. That'd be negative 1/2 or negative 0.5, which we would expect because we're on this side of the mean, so our z values, our standard deviations, are negative. Well, let's go to our chart. And we'll start off with this probability that the area below this z value of negative 2.5, we'll find this one first. So we go to our negative side of our chart. And here we have negative 2.5, and there's no numbers after it, so we just have 0, 0. So there's our probability there, our area there. And here we'll have to subtract from 1, and we're doing the z value of negative 0.5. And we see here negative 0.5, 0.3085. But again, we do have to subtract from 1. So this plus 1 minus that gives me a total area of about 70%. Now, these next two are worded differently. You'll notice we're not giving a value of seconds, an x value, we're given a percentage. In other words, we're given a probability. So we're looking at 10% of the area under the curve. Where is that 10%? It says fastest 10%. So that's the first 10% that would download. Let's change that to a decimal. And what we'll do here is we'll be going to the body of the chart where our probabilities are and going backwards and finding z and then x. Well, how's that going to work? Well, we know that z is x minus mu over sigma. And what I'm going to do is a little algebra and rearrange that. So my x value is going to be mu plus z times sigma. I just rearrange this formula here. And so let's go and find this z value, which of course is going to be negative, so we don't need to look all over the place. We're looking for the closest thing to 0.1000. So we'll look around here. 0.1000. That's the closest number there. So we go over here. That's negative 1.28. So how much time will elapse before the fastest 10% downloads? The seconds will be 7 seconds plus negative 1.28 times my standard deviation of 2 seconds. And that's going to give me 4.44 seconds. So 10% of the videos will download before 4.44 seconds. This one, we're looking at the fastest time and the slowest time that contain 95% of our download time. So what we're looking at are the values within here, 95% of them. Well, we need a z-value here, and we'll need a z-value here. Of course, this one will be negative, and this will be positive. So for this one here, if this is 0.95, how big is this area? Well, remember the whole area is 1. We're going to cut it in half, and that'll give us the size of each. I'll call these tails because we'll be talking about that in our next chapter. And so 1 minus 0.95 is 0.05 divided by 2 gives me 0.025. I'm going to take it out to 4. I'm going to add another 0 in there. So I'm looking for this in the body, and I'm going to get the z-value that goes with it. We're going to be on the negative side, and we're looking for 0.0250. We have it exactly here. That's negative 1.96. So that lower time is going to be 7. I'm using this formula here, plus negative 1.96 times 2, and that's going to give me 3.08 seconds. Now, the z-value here, remember, your z-values are always associated with an area all the way down to negative infinity. So from here to here, how much area is that? Well, it would be the 0.95 plus that, or you could just say 1 minus this little area here, but 0.95 plus that would be 0.9750. Again, you can simply just take that off from 1 because the whole area is 1. 1 minus this little open area is that. Or, like I said, you could add that to that. That's our number we're looking for. So, again, we go to our chart. We need to flip over to the positive side. And we're at 0.9750 right here. Surprise, surprise. It's positive 1.96. Notice these z-values are the same distance from the middle. And that will happen all the time in this situation. If it's symmetrical and we're looking at those middle values there. And work that out, you get 10.92 seconds. So 95% of our videos will download between 3.08 seconds and 10.92 seconds. Again, you might want to pause this, take a snapshot. This will be listed under Part 2 of Lesson 6.2 notes.